Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise, and in this one we are talking about the hammer, and oh my goodness, this thing looks insane. This is like spicy hammer gameplay. They have done some nuts things to the hammer. I really love this weapon. It is a fantastic weapon. It's one of the ones that I have used for the longest time. I used to main it back in Freedom 2nd, and to see how far it's come, this is pure destruction. So let's not waste any time. If you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. And of course, as you have been doing so already, make sure you keep it locked because we've got more weapons to talk about. But let's get started. First things first, in the introduction montage, the kind of quick clips, we of course do see that the power charge is making a return. Got a little sort of purple glow for it this time. We also see, rather interestingly, a change to the spinning attack, which I'll speak about in a second. And of course, we see the tee up for a couple of the Silkbind moves, which are just so incredibly powerful. We of course also have the Royal Ludroth armor, so not exactly a new armor set this time, but still pretty cool to see. And of course, jumping forward to the gameplay, we also get confirmation that Anjanath is also making a return. So as we've sort of seen so far, Poke, Kuluyaku, Anjanath, seems like, those monsters are of course going to be revealed in some of these videos. So we might still get a few more later on this week. But let's turn our attention to the clips themselves. So the very first thing we see, of course, here is, you have the power charge. We can see the hunter is mid-charge. They assume that stance, much like we've seen before. It is worth noting, you do seem to get a different color glow this time around. So potentially it could just be like a visual indicator, because we see later on in the trailer that your typical charge glow is sort of yellowy red. Meanwhile, when you've got power charge, it appears to be blue. So this might well just be an indicator of, say, whether or not you are in power charge amidst the charge, or it could also be that there are kind of different levels of power charge. That much we're going to have to wait and see. However, what is really interesting about this clip is the fact that they appear to have swapped the positions for the regular kind of charge slam, the level 3 charge, and the spinning slam, because you will of course remember historically with the hammer, if you want to perform, the powerful level 3 charge slam, you have to run up to the monster and then stop moving, because if you don't, you would go into the kind of whirlwind sort of corkscrew spinning attack. Meanwhile, this time they are very, very clearly moving. They have not taken a second to pause. So this I'm really happy about, because it kind of makes more sense organically, like just flowing wise, you would of course charge up, you'd run up to the monster, and you just want to let out that slam. So the fact they seem to have swapped these around is going to be really beneficial. It will take some adjusting to, because we're probably so used to as hammer users just like pausing before you attack, but still it's exciting to see. Jumping over to the second clip, this of course shows you the alternate version. So we see here that you have the charge again, but you'll see that this time the hunter is pausing. Now, before I actually get into what goes on here, what I also want to call attention to is this little sort of hop you have with the hammer, which again is really, really cool. You can see that the hunter is mid-charge, and they do a little sort of like side step, which is really cool, because, up until this point, if you did that normally, you would of course just roll with the hammer. So the fact we've now got this little sort of dash is also going to be great for repositioning and seemingly maintaining your charge. However, you'll notice that in this situation, following the dash, you are standing still, and now from standing still, you go into the signature spinning attack. So that in itself seems to be the swap, which again is, kind of cool. It just means that we'd have to adjust our minds as to how this works, but that is now seemingly where the spin comes from. However, what I then want to turn your attention to is the next section. So you'll see here that, again, we go into that little sort of dash, pause before Anjanath, go into the spinning attack. You of course end it with the upward golf swing, and from there you can then go straight into what appears to be the sort of setup for the Big Bang combo. Also, something else worth noting, if you look at the power charge at the beginning of the clip versus afterwards, it seems that during some of these moves the power charge is consumed. So again, quite how this is going to work, we won't know for certain until we get to go hands-on with the demo. It might well be different levels of charge, or it might be one of those things where, by consuming it, it of course gives you more power, but then in doing so, you of course have to keep reminding yourself to reinitialize the power charge. But regardless, the fact is we've got some new combo paths from the end of the spin attack, which honestly in the past we have typically ignored. But now, given that we do have that new combo option, it might actually add some use to that move. Next up, we of course have a Silkbind move, the Silkbind spinning bludgeon. But before we even get into the move, which also looks incredibly cool, you can also seemingly charge this. This is crazy. See, you throw the wire bug into the sky, and before you even pull yourself up, you are charging it. Also, it seems that while you're doing this, you do have super armor, because it seems like you can take a hit from Anjanath, whether that is like all hits or whether it's kind of just the small hits, because that's just a bite from Anjanath, so it's not exactly the weightiest of attacks. But either way, you're able to charge it going up there. You can of course also see here we have the familiar red and orange glow, because it doesn't look like the hunter has power charge beforehand, so this may well be the differentiating factor. But either way, you go up, you pull yourself up, and you then perform the familiar and very powerful spinning bludgeon attack, which of course in the past you would have done sliding down a slope. So the fact that we don't need slopes anymore, you can literally do this anywhere is going to be a KO hunter's dream. And as you can see in the second clip, you can do it in 2 different ways. You can either begin your level 3 charge and then fire out the wire bug and go straight into it, or of course, as per the first clip, you can just initiate the charge, throw out the wire bug and charge before you leave the ground. So there seems to be flexibility in how you can perform it. However, the second clip is, oh my gosh, this is a world-ending move. The Impact Crater. The official website says, extinction event from the sky, jump straight up and dish out a devastating rising attack that also hits multiple times on the way down. This just looks so incredibly powerful. The way that you kind of just like launch up, hit on the way up, and then just slam down. Whew, the KO values on that must be astronomical. But anyway, that, my friends, for the time being, is the hammer. Of course, the clip then just rounds out with a few more little kind of quick clips, you know, some slams and whatnot. But yeah, this is looking very cool. I do have some questions following this. I do obviously naturally want to go hands-on and find out just how it works, because it does seem like there are some changes to the power charge mechanic, at least sort of the way that it potentially consumes it, potentially uses it in different ways. And of course, the new combo paths, that's going to kind of take some reprogramming in our mind. It'd be interesting to see whether they are, you know, replacements or whether they are kind of additions. We'll of course have to wait and see. But either way, hammer is looking hella spicy. So yeah, that's it for the time being. Again, as a reminder, this is your schedule. This is what we have remaining. So if your weapons have not been shown just yet, this is the schedule to look forward to. Keep it locked on the channel, because as and when the new videos drop, I will be covering them right away. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there if you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with. It's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.